A most recent example that all of us are familiar with is Ms. Shirley Sherrod, who was fired by the Obama administration, wrongly. What happened in that situation? Let's take it as an example. Somebody took out of context a statement she made about a white farmer. They took it because they had an agenda, played it on Fox. It began a string of lies, misinformation, and propaganda, which is violence. So the first act of violence already occurred. Violence is not just when I hit you and you hit me back, when I shoot him and he shoots me back. Violence begins when I begin to say things, think first, and then say things that are not true, and say things that are dehumanizing. And so the violence already began. And then it started a string of more violence. Because first, it was taken out of context. So that was the first act of violence. She got mistreated. She got treated violently. Secondly, it was played, and then people start calling for her firing. Nobody took the time to research and listen to the entire context of which her statement was made. And so then the administration steps in and she loses her job. Violence. Not losing her job, but because she lost it because some propaganda and misinformation was spread, some lies, instead of the truth. And so we've got to find a way in our culture to help people understand the importance of treating everybody with dignity and respect and making sure that we have our information correct. Because if you study history, most wars and most conflicts begin because of propaganda. Don't think that people are just fighting in nations just because they just fight. Somebody went in and infiltrated a camp, and they began to spread information that wasn't necessarily true. It caused a reaction in that camp, and they began to train, educate, and pass on that information. And those people now are holding on to something that is not necessarily true in the case, and they end up having a certain perspective, an opinion, and an attitude about another group of people. And then they act out of that, and wars begin.